What's up everyone, Tony here, and today we're going to take a closer look at Night City Wire Episode 2. The 26-minute video didn't actually tell us a ton of new information, but it did show us a lot of stuff we haven't seen before. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of what we saw in this video were things we only heard about in text form from all those hands-on impressions we got back when Night City Wire Episode 1 was released. In my last Cyberpunk video, I performed a super detailed breakdown on all of those text impressions, and I ended up touching on a lot of the topics that were the focus in Night City Wire Episode 2. For instance, a lot of that new footage of the 3 Lifepaths showed us scenarios you'd already be familiar with if you read the text impressions. So instead of repeating myself and detailing those 3 Lifepath intro sequences beat by beat, again, I'd highly recommend checking that video out before watching today's video. It's a great refresher and will catch you up on damn near everything we know about the game so far. Night City Wire Episode 2 is basically split into 3 parts. First, we get a deeper dive into the 3 Lifepaths. Part 2 is a behind-the-scenes featurette with hardcore punk band Refused, who CD Projekt Red has tasked with bringing Johnny Silverhand and his band Samurai to life in the game. Finally, the video ends with a weapons breakdown, showing us some gorgeous new gadgets that I can't wait to get my hands on. Or installed inside my hands. Whatever. Today we'll break it all down, focus on anything we haven't seen before, and I'll give my thoughts on what caught my eye and what you may have missed. Even following those insanely detailed press impressions, there's definitely a lot of exciting new stuff to take a look at and analyze from this video. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. We begin with a more detailed look at each of the 3 life paths from the game. This comes complete with new footage of the 3 unique intro sequences for Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo. What was simply summarized in text form from Game Informer is now shown in this Night City Wire video. And in most cases, it looks even better than what I was picturing in my head, and I've got quite the imagination. For the Street Kid trailer, we get some nice establishing shots of Haywood, which is the area of Night City where Street Kid V lives and is very familiar with. Shockingly enough, there seems to be a lot of street kids hanging out on the streets. We also get a quick shot of an advertisement featuring none other than Luke Skywalker. This is concrete confirmation that Jedis exist in the Cyberpunk universe. Okay, but seriously, CD Projekt Red didn't even try with this one. This is just a blatant traced screen cap from The Last Jedi. But he has a cowboy hat. No one will ever notice. As the trailer continues, we finally get to meet what seems like a fairly important character in the game, Padre. Padre is one of the big shot fixers in Night City and serves a function similar to Dex Deshawn. Fixers act as intermediaries for people with a lot of money to spend. They'll pay a fixer to have a problem solved. Then the fixer goes out to find someone that could solve the problem. In many cases throughout Cyberpunk 2077, that person is V. However, unlike Dex, Padre's territory is Haywood, so Street Kid V specifically has known him for a long time. That said, even though Padre plays a specific role in the intro sequence of the Street Kid life path, should you select Corpo or Nomad, you'll end up in Haywood eventually, and at that point, you too will have to deal with Padre if you want to get jobs done in the area. Here in the trailer, we get a peek at Padre's role in the Street Kid life path intro. He picks up V and gives him a ride to the garage where the Rayfield Erendite is located. Later, we discover that Jackie was Padre's driver. He overheard V describing the entire job and followed him to the car, which is where the events of the B-roll footage takes place. We also get a taste of what some of the street races look like in Cyberpunk, and Evelyn Parker makes an appearance, which is a character we only really got a quick glimpse of in the gig trailer. She seems to be tied to Street Kid V in some significant way, if this trailer is any indication. As the clip ends, we see another cool-ass character design rocking the full chrome body. I'll say it again, Silver Surfer. Let me look like this at some point in the game, please. Next up is the Nomad trailer, and we're greeted with more gorgeous establishing shots, but this time of the Badlands area surrounding Night City, which is where the majority of Nomad V's intro sequence takes place. Nomad certainly comes off as the least traditionally cyberpunky life path of the three. Obviously, we're starting outside of the technological wonderland of the future known as Night City. We've got desert and sand as far as the eye could see, gritty off-road vehicles, old-timey clunky devices with antennas, bonfires, and acoustic guitars. Just listen to this music playing in the background.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Not exactly a sound you would associate with the cyberpunk genre. It almost comes off more like a western, and I definitely like me some westerns. Again, it's clear that CD Projekt Red really wants to differentiate the three life paths, and well, mission accomplished here with Nomad. We also seem to meet a female companion of Nomad V, which caught me off guard a bit because I never really read anything about this character specifically in any of the impressions. Nomad V is supposedly a lone ranger, but given how much this lady is featured in this trailer, she seems to play an important role. Or maybe this is a flashback sequence and this character is someone important from Nomad V's past. Either way, it just shows that we still don't know everything about these three life paths and the stories that will be told with these intro sequences, even after ripping apart all of those detailed press impressions. But my favorite shot from the Nomad trailer has to be this. It's the iguana. The big job that gets Nomad V and Jackie into Night City involves delivering some mysterious, precious cargo, and it turns out that cargo is a real, living iguana, which is super valuable in the year 2077, as most animals in this world are extinct. Just look at that little guy. Hang in there, buddy. Finally, in case there was any doubt, CD Projekt Red has confirmed that the Badlands area can be visited at any time, even if you don't choose the Nomad life path. But you may not want to venture out there at the very beginning of the game, since you could meet powerful enemies that you'll probably be too underleveled to stand a chance against. Nonetheless, at some point later in the story, you'll end up interacting with characters in the Badlands to complete certain missions. Finally, we have the Corpo life path, and the establishing shots in this trailer give us a taste of the intimidating, dark Arasaka building. There's a real lack of color with this trailer compared to the rest, which is exactly what you'd expect from a soulless megacorporation from the dystopian cyberpunk future. To be fair though, some of this interior design work looks really damn good. We also get to see snippets of a number of cutscenes detailed in the press impressions. We see Jenkins, Corpo V's boss, in his office giving V the mission that will change his life: assassinate Susan Abernathy. We see V plug in the device into his head that gives him all of Abernathy's information, and all of this is intercut with V at Lizzie's bar having a conversation with his old friend Jackie. Story-wise, I think Corpo is the most intriguing of the three life paths based on what we've learned so far. I'm really looking forward to exploring the Arasaka building and understanding more about the lore behind the company and what it's like to be so high up the corporate ladder in Night City. Now, there's been some confusion about how exactly life paths will come into play as we progress deeper into the game. Does it only affect the intro sequence, or is there more to it than that? CD Projekt Red clarified in Night City Wire Episode 2, explaining that the main way your life path will influence the game is through unique dialogue choices that will then open up unique gameplay scenarios. Depending on the life path you choose, you're going to be playing as a V who is either intimately familiar with the streets of Night City, a V who is more comfortable in the boardrooms above Night City, or a V who has never even been to Night City at all, but has a bunch of experience that will help him in certain scenarios all the same. The example given was the mission we saw from the 48-minute gameplay demo where we try to retrieve the spider bot from the Maelstrom gang. But before we engage with the gang, we meet Militech agent Meredith Stroud. As a Corpo, you are familiar with Meredith's background, her position, the company she's associated with, and that knowledge allows you to tackle the mission in an entirely different way, leading to a different encounter with the Maelstrom gang. As a nomad, based on your unique experiences, you know how the Maelstrom gang are able to steal that rare Militech robot, which allows certain gameplay opportunities as well. Finally, as a street kid, this whole thing is completely above your pay grade, so this life path is unique in that you aren't given any special dialogue choices, and you're pretty much in the dark here, tackling each problem as they come. That makes sense. Of course, there are other scenarios where Street Kid V will be more in his element. Later, a Maelstrom gang member seems to offer you some laced drugs, but as a street kid, you know all about that, and it opens up a unique dialogue right there. I'm definitely interested to see just how drastically these Lifepath exclusive dialogue choices can change the way a certain mission is completed. Overall, I continue to be impressed with what I'm seeing from these Lifepaths. They look so damn unique and really seem to offer 3 radically different introductions to this world. I'm still undecided on which one I'm gonna go with first, and I get the feeling it's going to be a game time decision when I finally get my hands on Cyberpunk. The next part of the video is a behind the scenes look at how Samurai, Johnny Silverhand's band in the Cyberpunk 2077 universe, is being brought to life. Music is a very important element of any game to me, and I'm a huge sucker for these behind the scenes looks at music production, given that I've done my fair share of music production over the years. So I really love this little featurette and found it super fascinating. We get to hear from Dennis and the rest of Refused, which is the band that has basically been cast in the role of Samurai. These dudes have a kick-ass sound, and I think CD Projekt Red nailed it by bringing these guys in. I think it goes without saying that you gotta have some punk music in a game called Cyberpunk. It's called that for a reason. Refused formed in 1991, so they've been around forever, and clearly each band member has wonderful chemistry with one another. If you're gonna go through the trouble of basically hiring a band to play pretend and bring another fictional band to life, I think it's a very good thing that they've gone with a group of veterans like Refused. They made it clear that they aren't just writing lyrics for a Refused song. They need to get into the head of this Johnny Silverhand character and write how he would write to bring him to life musically. There's 4 completed songs by Samurai already up on streaming services, and they all sound great. Chippin' In is a legit banger, and I wish I could play it now, but sadly the YouTube gods would strike me down if I did.
See this song, I'm chipping in. Roll the bones, I'm chipping in. Bet that tone, I'm chipping in.
It's a little bizarre that we're gonna have to go from Keanu Reeves' smooth, subdued voice to this crazy, aggressive singing voice, but Dennis is so good that it all just works in the end. I mean, we know Keanu himself has the pipes to do the singing for Johnny Silverhand. Come on, CD Projekt Red, Keanu was up for the job. He's a punk in real life too.
Isabel takes a whirl.
Right on, brother. But yeah, like I said, Refused is an awesome choice that really fits the setting. Their sound works so well with the grimy underground nature of this game and brings an authenticity to Johnny Silverhand and his music. It's some real ass punk, and thankfully not some random composer brought in on the cheap to create a facsimile of that sound. Anyways, this behind the scenes featurette was really insightful, and I'm legit looking forward to hearing the rest of the songs Refused produces for this game. Although the music and its production was the main focus of this segment, we saw some cool gameplay related goodies in there as well. First up, my favorite, establishing shots. God, they're so beautiful. Have I said that enough times yet? This game is gorgeous, and all the interiors like these look so damn good. These shots do a really good job capturing a mood, and CD Projekt Red continues to do this again and again every time we see the game in action. All the shots we see here of the game look particularly amazing, clearly running on some cutting edge PC hardware with everything turned way up. These are legit next gen visuals on display here, assuming this is all in real time. That ray tracing looks incredible. You RTX 30 series cards better be ready for a beating. Perhaps the most interesting part of this feature is that we see the player seemingly take control of Johnny Silverhand at some point during the game. We see first-person shots of the player walking around as Johnny with his band backstage, and then on the stage itself. I'm sure this is a flashback sequence from later in the game, where I bet Johnny fills V in on a bit of his backstory and where he comes from. Okay, that guitar looks really good. Jeez. Then it gets really weird when Johnny seems to pull out a gun on stage, aim it at the crowd, and none of them react to this. Is this a dream sequence? Do people in the dystopian cyberpunk future not flinch at a rock star pointing a gun at them? Is it just a way to get the crowd hyped? Threaten to shoot them? Who knows? It's definitely a really weird scene we're being exposed to here, but I want to see more, so mission accomplished. I definitely look forward to taking control of Johnny himself, even if it's for a brief time. The video concludes with one final trailer called Tools of Destruction, which focuses on some of the awesome weapons we'll be getting our hands on in Cyberpunk 2077. It begins by introducing us to yet another fixer we'll meet in Night City, Wakako Okada. She's giving us a mission to complete, but first, we need to get strapped. Enter V, wearing his cool guy jacket and grabbing his cool guy gear in a very cool guy weapons locker. This looks so damn good, it's mind-blowing. What's crazy about this trailer in particular is that we can actually compare it with a number of shots of the same rooms we saw in the 2018 gameplay demo. Now, most games these days experience visual downgrades in the final game compared to a pre-release build. Honestly, at this point, I kinda expect it when we see a game years before it releases. It's just what we've been taught. But here we are, just over 2 months away from launch, and if we compare to the 2018 gameplay video, which many felt was going to be downgraded come launch because it looked so ridiculously good, in fact, we can see a clear upgrade when comparing the two. That is crazy, and definitely something even I didn't see coming. Because that build looks incredible, but it seems like CD Projekt Red has managed to squeeze even more juice out of Cyberpunk visually over the last 2 years of development. Insane. But as good as the game is looking, the focus of this segment is the weapons we'll be wielding in Cyberpunk 2077. There are a number of subcategories the weapons and gear in this game fit into, and here in this trailer, we get a taste of just some of these weapon types and how they work. First, there's the 3 types of guns. We have tech weapons, which have insane firepower and are able to shoot through walls or blow meaty chunks out of an enemy standing right in front of you. A satisfying shotgun that just wrecks someone is arguably the most important thing about any first-person shooter, so I'm happy CD Projekt Red seems to have this figured out properly. Then there's power weapons, which are the closest to the contemporary weapons we all know and are used to. However, they have the unique ability to shoot bullets off surfaces, as we could see with this laser sight. The third type of guns are smart weapons, which basically have homing ammo, and this looks so cool in action. Even though the guns are sorted into these unique categories, they definitely have one thing in common. They all look amazing. The gun design in this game is next level, and absolutely achieves that feeling within me of wanting to try out a gun just because it looks cool. Awesome job with the designs here. It's clear that CD Projekt Red is going all out with inventive, creative, and cool looking weapons that match the setting. And we'll be able to customize them even further to our liking from there. Then we see some melee weapons, and man, the Star Wars references just don't stop, because this thing looks like a damn Sith lightsaber in action. I love it. Finally, we end with a look at some cyberware. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but we know there is so much more they aren't showing, and I'm certainly excited to really dig into the craziness that will be afforded by cyberware in this game. To end the video, we hear from CD Projekt Red about how important the RPG elements are and the dramatic effect progressing through Cyberpunk will have on the game's weapons and combat. We are going to grow from a small-time mercenary to a full-blown legend here in Night City, and with that, our weapons and various abilities are going to improve. That means quicker reload times, better aim, and faster movement. We'll come across attachment mods like scopes and silencers, as well as software mods that will improve our weapon stats and will result in stuff like higher damage, more accurate shooting, and a faster firing rate. We'll come across non-lethal rounds for all of you pacifists out there, and on the other side of the spectrum, biochemical rounds that will absolutely wreck fools and pierce their armor. Of course, we'll come across straight up more powerful weapons as well, with rarities ranging from common to uncommon, rare, and finally, legendary. Again, this is all just reassuring to me that the combat in this game is going to be fantastic. Some press impressions were a bit negative on the combat, but I truly believe you can't really judge this game's combat based on the first couple of hours. Everything is really going to click properly once you've leveled up, got crazy cyberware equipped, and you're rocking a fully modded legendary weapon in the later parts of the game. I think that's when we'll truly get to see this game's combat system shine and push to its absolute limits, and I'm so damn hype to see what exactly that looks like. And with that, we are going to wrap it up here for Night City Wire Episode 2. All in all, I think this video did a great job keeping my hype levels high for this game. I can't get over how good Cyberpunk is looking. Gorgeous art direction, incredible character and weapon design, all running at 4K with full ray tracing. There's no doubt you're going to want to play this game on next-gen consoles, or those glorious new RTX 30 series cards. Good God, look at this beast. If you like this video and want to see more Cyberpunk 2077 content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. The hype train to November continues to chug along with the launch of new consoles and Cyberpunk 2077, so expect more regular Cyberpunk coverage here on the channel going forward. I've been going through the incredible World of Cyberpunk art book, and it's definitely giving me some ideas for future videos, so look forward to some breakdowns of that book very soon. Plus, Night City Wire Episode 3 is probably right around the corner. I have more Red Dead Online stuff in the works, and I might just be taking a look at some other big recent releases as well. So look forward to all of that, but until next time, thanks so much for watching, Wakanda forever, and take care.
Thank you.